Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Ferris State hockey now with us, head coach Bob Daniels. And Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's good to be here, Rob.
Last time we had a chance to talk with you was last season at the end of the year, right after your team had reached the Frozen Four in the national championship game, and kind of amazing how quick the offseason has went.
It is, although I remember back to us talking at the end of last year. I'm much more relaxed and rested than I was at that point, but it is, you know what, the summer was quick, but it's exciting right now. We're getting ready for another season, and it's always the best time of the year for me.
Your team hits the ice this week, exhibition game on Sunday against Ryerson University at 3:05 here in Big Rapids, and I know your team excited and looking forward to being back on the ice.
We really are, and we've had, as coaches, kind of limited exposure to the players by NCAA rules. Now, our strength coach, Dave Sensors, pretty much had access to them all the way along, you know, up to 8 hours a week. But for ourselves, we find we pretty much we're down to 2 hours a week that we're really with the kids and on the ice, and it's tough to get a feel for things. I can tell you this, we're in great condition. Dave Sensors done an outstanding job with that. The attitude's really good, and we're just looking forward now to actually getting into some practices where we don't have to limit it to 45 minutes on the ice, and we have a little bit more time with the kids.
I know a busy offseason with all the success that you had last season, and certainly the incoming recruiting class, a big part of that offseason. And talk about those guys coming in and what you expect out of that incoming class.
Well, it's going to be, we're going to lean heavy on some of these kids now. We lost 4 defensemen, graduated 4 defensemen from last year. And meaning that with us knowing we returned 4, that means we're going to have at least 2 freshmen in the lineup every night at minimum. And that's a big deal, but it could be even more. So we're going to see the impact on our team by freshmen heaviest at defense. We've got 3 freshman forwards that all look good, you know, to this point, but we returned so many forwards that have seen a lot of action, played power play, penalty kill, that really the opportunities for a freshman forward coming into this year aren't going to be there right away, and they're going to have more time to season and develop. And similarly in net, C.J. Mott looks great. You know, he's lost 17 pounds from last year. He's in tremendous shape, and I think he's ready right now to take on the mantle of our goaltender, certainly to start the year. And you know, he's got 2 big skates to fill, if you will. He's going to have Pat Nagel, who was an All-American 2 years ago, then Taylor Nelson, who was an All-American last year. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure, and he's going to have to deal with that pressure while he's also dealing with 4 freshman defensemen. So this is not the same team that Taylor Nelson played behind last year.
You mentioned you lost some guys. You lost 8 guys overall off of last year's team, a couple All-Americans, as you mentioned, Taylor Nilsson and Chad Billings being the other one. But with the experience you have coming back, what are some of the expectations, and how does that experience last year help fuel those expectations?
Certainly. I think the taste of success that we had last year makes everyone hungrier. We want that success. I could say it's right from the fans to the coaches to the players. But with that has to come a level of temperament, understanding that this is not the same team. We did roll over 8 players. We graduated 8 of them. And so this will be a different version of Bulldog hockey. We have a lot of really good quality players returning. We are young at the one position being defense, and we're a little bit of a question mark with CJ and net, although I got to see him all last year. He's very capable. I think as we look for it, if I had to guess, how is it going to unfold? I think we'll have some growing pains beginning of the season. Some games we may look like $1 million. The next game may wonder if we'll ever win again. But I think that's just the nature of what we're going to deal with our youth. But I could see this team developing over the course of a season, and this is our job now as coaches, that when we hit the second half of the year, that we're trending the right way, and we can have a real good, strong finish, you know, strong second half, strong finish. I think our goals are the same this year as they were last year, and pretty much every year. We want to be a top 5 team in our league. We want to be an upper division team. Would like to have home ice in the playoffs. Would like to get to Joe Louis, and we would like to receive an NCAA bid. And so those are our goals, and we won't change them from what they were a year ago. I think those are good goals. I think those are obtainable for our team.
The Bulldogs will start off the season next week on the road. Then you come back for for a non-league home series against Mercyhurst, and then into the final year of CCHA action. And just talk about this being the final year of the CCHA before you move on to the WCHA next year, and what it means to be associated with the CCHA here in this final season.
Sure. Well, with any change, there comes an element of sadness and also an element of excitement. The sadness, certainly, you know, I've spent 25 years or close to it in the CCHA, and I've watched the league grow and develop and become really one of the powerhouse conferences in all of college hockey, and with some great names in terms of administrators, coaches, and past players that have come through and had an impact not only in college hockey but the National Hockey League as well. And to see that leave is really disappointing. However, the excitement comes that we're going to join a new conference, the WCHA. Now, that's not necessarily a new conference. It's new to us. But it's a conference, again, that's probably one of the top 3 conferences in college hockey. I think it will continue to be so. And all of a sudden, now we're in a conference with Michigan Tech. That's tremendously exciting for us. Minnesota State, Bemidji. And then we also have a lot of the followers from the CCHA in northern Michigan, Bowling Green, Lake State. So we'll have some rivals that our fans are familiar with, and some new ones that I think our fans are going to anticipate, you know, in a very positive way. So, you know, sadness from the standpoint of I hate to see the CCHA go, but I'm also excited about what the future holds for Bulldog hockey.
Bulldogs, one of 5 CCHA teams, are ranked here in the American Hockey Coaches Association preseason poll, and certainly going to be competitive as you're the defending league champion. But as we mentioned, several teams out there that hopefully will have a chance to win a championship as well on their end here in the final season.
Sure, and you know, you look at our league and it's always tough, and I'd have to say on paper, and that's all these polls are, it's a reflection of last season, and for us to be in the top 15, it's a feather in our cap. It means that we had a good last year, but that's all it means. We've got to earn that. We haven't earned anything, and just like the years when we're picked lower, I always feel like, well, we didn't earn that either. You know, well, we haven't earned a top 15 spot, but it's nice to see. Now, if you look at our league, I see 3 teams that on paper stand ahead of the rest of us for right now, and that's going to be Michigan, Western Michigan, and Notre Dame. Those 3 on paper look to be really, really strong, and I think that was reflected in the polls. But from there, it's grab, you know, and you could take the other 8 teams, throw them in a bag, pull out names, and that'd be just about as well as you could pick them. Now, our goal and our job as a team is to try to crack those top 3 and see if we can't, you know, all of a sudden make that a 4-team race. But we got a ways to go before we can talk that way, I guess.
As you look back to last year, what did last year do for you as a program in terms of the expectations and obviously the tremendous accomplishments you had a year ago? What has that done for you here as you head into another season?
Certainly it's impacted our recruiting in a positive way. Now, the kids that we had coming in this year, we'd already had recruited by the time we had that season. But these are 8 really good recruits. I'm not saying that, but the real impact will probably be felt in the next couple of classes that we're in the midst of recruiting. But, you know, last year was kind of the cherry on top of what really has been maybe a decade-long run of pretty good success, where we've been a winning program. We're well over the 500 mark. We finished in the upper division of the CCHA more often than not. So that it wasn't, you know, it wasn't an overnight success. It's been a bit of a labor of love. But certainly last year was maybe the one that, beyond regionally in Michigan and in the Midwest, where they know, hey, Ferris got a good hockey program, maybe now it's a little bit more of a national brand, if you will. Well,
Coach, best of luck as you hit the ice this Sunday, an exhibition game against Ryerson University, and obviously with the start of the season next week.
Thank you, Rob.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.